Do you know you can be having parasitic or worm infection and you won't know? Because sometimes some of these parasitic worm infection doesn't present with signs and symptoms, so you will not know you have them. First of all, let's understand what are these parasites. Parasites are organisms that lives in and feed on their hosts. Then what are these parasitic worms? These parasitic worms that affect human beings are worms that lives and feed on the human body. There are a variety of these parasitic worms that take up residence in human body. Among them are tapeworm, hookworm, pinworm, roundworm. There are many. And one of the things that causes this worm infestation is poor hygiene. The risk of this parasitic worm infection is higher in rural or developing areas. The risk is also higher in places where food and water are contaminated or places where there is poor hygiene. So in the course of this video, we'll be looking at types of parasitic worm, signs and symptoms of parasitic worm, diagnosis of parasitic worm, and prevention of parasitic worm. So if you are ready, let's start. So let's take a look at the types of parasitic worms that can affect humans. These include Trichinella, hookworm, pinworm, flukeworm, and tapeworm. These are the major types of parasitic worm that can affect humans. Let's take a look at the signs and symptoms of parasitic worm infection. These include loss of appetite, loss of weight, general body weakness, nausea, diarrhea, abdominal pain. This is just to mention but a few. Now let's look at the diagnosis of parasitic worm infection. In the laboratory, parasitic worm infection can be diagnosed by fecal tests and by blood tests. It can also be done by imaging tests, tape tests, and coloscopy. Now let's look at prevention of parasitic worm infection. There are several steps that have been put in place to help you prevent yourself from getting this parasitic worm infection. These include: number 1, avoid eating raw or undercooked food. Number 2, make sure you separate your meat from other cooking materials when preparing your food. Number 3, don't walk barefoot on places where there are feces. Number 4, always decontaminate your cooking materials, your cooking utensils, and the surfaces before cooking. Number 5, make sure you wash your hand thoroughly before eating. Number 6, make sure that you don't eat raw food from the sea. Number 7, wash your hand properly after using the toilet. Wash your hand properly. When you have done all these things and you still feel sick, I suggest you see your doctor for further checkup. Share this video, let others know about types of parasitic worm that can affect humans.